The uppermost and largest bone of the pelvis is A. Iliac crest, B. Ilium, C. Ischium, D. Obturator Foramen. And the correct answer is B. Ilium. The ilium is the largest part of the hip bone and makes up the superior part of the acetabulum. Which bone in the human is called the tailbone? A. Lumbar vertebrae, B. Sacrum, C. Patella, D. Coccyx. And the correct answer is D. Coccyx. The coccyx bone in the human is called the tailbone. Which bone in the forearm region is on the pinky finger side? A. Radius, B. Ulna, C. Tibia, D. Fibula. And the correct answer is B. Ulna. In the forearm region, ulna bone is on the pinky finger side. Which bone in the forearm region is on the thumb side? A. Radius, B. Ulna, C. Tibia, D. Fibula. And the correct answer is A. Radius. In the forearm region, radius bone is on the thumb side. Which bone in the human is called the beauty bone? A. Sternum, B. Clavicle, C. Maxilla, D. Fibula. And the correct answer is B. Clavicle. The beauty bone is mostly just another name for your collarbone or clavicle, especially in women. It is the bone located above the ribs in the chest. The word foramen means A. Opening or hole in a bone, B. A joint or socket of a bone, C. An area found only on the male pelvis, D. None of the above. And the correct answer is A. Opening or hole in a bone. An opening, hole or passage, especially in a bone, is called a foramen. The shoulder blade bone is called A. Vertebrae, B. Incus, C. Scapula, D. Fibula. And the correct answer is C. Scapula. Shoulder blade is also called scapula, shoulder bone, shoulder blade, wing bone, spial bone, or blade bone. Scapula is the bone that connects the humerus with the clavicle. The bones of the vertebral column are classified as which type of bone? A. Flat, B. Irregular, C. Long, D. Short. And the correct answer is B. Irregular. Irregular bones vary in shape and structure and therefore do not fit into any other category like flat bones, short bones, long bones, or sesamoid bones. Irregular bones often have a fairly complex shape which helps protect internal organs. For example, the vertebrae, which are the irregular bones of the vertebral column, protects the spinal cord. How many facial bones do you have? A. 23, B. 14, C. 17, D. 42. And the correct answer is B. 14. The facial bones include 14 bones, with 6 paired bones and 2 unpaired bones. The paired bones are the maxilla, palatine, zygomatic, nasal, lacrimal, and inferior nasal concave bones. The unpaired bones are the vomer and mandible bones. Raising the arms to the side of the body while performing dumbbell lateral raises is an example of what motion? A. Circumduction, B. Flexion, C. Abduction, D. Adduction. And the correct answer is C. Abduction. Raising your arms at the side of the body is an example of abduction, whereas lowering them down is an example of adduction. What is the name of your kneecap bone? A. Patella, B. Clavicle, C. Tibia, D. Neexoid. And the correct answer is A. Patella. The patella, also known as the kneecap, is a flat, rounded, triangular bone which articulates with the femur and covers and protects the anterior articular surface of the knee joint. The top portion of the sternum is called A. Xiphoid process, B. Manubrium, C. Scapula, D. Incus. And the correct answer is B. Manubrium. The top portion of the sternum is called manubrium. Which long bone makes up the upper part of the arm? A. Clavicle, B. Humerus, C. Radius, D. Femur. And the correct answer is B. Humerus. Humerus is the long bone which makes up the upper part of the arm. Gliding movement occurs at what type of joint? A. Pivot joint, B. Ball and socket joint, C. Saddle joint, D. Plane joint. And the correct answer is D. Plane joint. A plane joint is also called arthrodial joint or gliding joint or plane articulation. A plane joint is a synovial joint which under physiological conditions allows only gliding movement. Olfactory nerve is related to A. Sight, B. Sense of smell, C. Peristalsis, D. Facial sensation. And the correct answer is B. Sense of smell. The olfactory nerve is the first cranial nerve that contains sensory nerve fibers relating to the sense of smell. How many heads does the biceps brachii typically have? A. 4, B. 2, C. 3, D. 1. And the correct answer is B. 2. The biceps muscle has two heads, the short head and the long head, distinguished according to their origin at the coracoid process and supraglenoid tubercle of the scapula respectively. Which is the smallest muscle in the human body? A. Gluteus maximus, B. Stapedius, C. Deltoid muscle, D. Quadriceps. And the correct answer is B. Stapedius. The stapedius muscle is the tiny muscle in the middle ear that attaches to the posterior aspect of the neck of the stapes. The head of the femur fits into which structure of the pelvis? A. Pubic tubercle, B. Sacroiliac joint, C. Obturator foramen, D. Acetabulum. And the correct answer is drop your answers in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button. Thanks for watching.